Chapter 46 Trip to Kashi and Gaya. Narration of the birth of goats. I bow down Shri Ganesh, I bow down Shri Saraswati, I bow down the Guru, I bow down the family Dinti, I bow down Shri Sita Ramchandra, I bow down Shri Satguru Sai Nath. Blessed are your feet, Shri Sai. Blessed is your remembrance and blessed is your darshan, which frees us from the bond of karma. Though your corporal form is invisible to us at present, yet if there is faith and devotion, the devotees get living experiences. The spirit in the samadhi is awakened and becomes instantaneously visible. By an invisible and subtle thread, you draw your devotees from far and near. You bring them and keep them at your feet and embrace them, hugging them close to your heart, like a mother holds her child. You nurture them easily. No one knows where you are, but you so skillfully pull the threads that ultimately they realize that you are behind the devotees to help and support them. The intelligent, wise, and learned get entangled in the web of the world due to their egotism. But the poor, simple, and devout are indulged by you with your power. Inwardly and invisibly you play all the games, but show the flag of detachment. You do things and pose yourself as a non-doer. Nobody ever knows your ways. Therefore let us surrender body, speech and mind at your feet and always chant your name for destroying our sins. You fulfill the desires of the desirous and the detached. Give the bliss of your bod. Chanting your sweet name is the easiest sadhana for your devotees. By that the sins will be destroyed. Passion and ignorance will undoubtedly be wiped out. Goodness will gradually arise, and after that the store of merits will increase. Once righteousness is awakened, dispassion will follow quickly. The sense pleasure lose their hold and self-knowledge manifest immediately. Knowledge is reached due to discrimination. Then we abide in ourselves and become humble at the Guru's feet. This is what is called complete surrender to the Guru. The one and only sure sign of the surrender at Sai's feet is that the disciple becomes calm and peaceful and perfects his devotion with eagerness and joy. Loving devotion to the Guru is the sacred law. I am that is the essence of knowledge. Dislike for the sense pleasure is supreme dispassion. Aversion for conditioned existence comes at that stage. Blessed is the greatness of such devotion which is performed with singular faith and devoutness, for peace, detachment, repute invariably follow that, as they are always in its power. What can he lack who has such devotion to the Guru? He will have whatever he desires without effort. Union with God comes in the wake of such condition as a slave given as a marriage gift. Salvation is not in doubt, and holy places long to touch such feet. In the earlier chapter, Dikshit's reading of the Bhagavad was narrated. Also, the devotion of the 9 yogis was described and how the darshan was given of Sai's feet. Sai devotees Anand Rao Pakade described the marvelous dream he had and the glory of devotion to Sai. Whoever Sai takes under his protection, Shri Sai is always with him day and night, whether he is at home or continents away. Wherever the devotee goes, in each and every place he finds Sai as preceded to him and gives him darshan unexpectedly. I am going to narrate a wonderful novel story for you listeners, and you will be amazed hearing it. It will give you pleasure. Listening to the words of Sai in this story will make even the happiness of the samadhi pale into insignificance. The virtuous devotee will be filled with self-bliss listening to this sweet story, where there is a marvel at every step, will make the listeners forget themselves and they will be greatly overcome with emotion. The scarlet thread ceremony of Bapu, the eldest son of Kaka Sahib Dikshit, was fixed for performance at Nagpur. The marriage of the eldest son of Nana Sahib Chandorkar was also fixed, for which it would be necessary to go to Gwalior. Nana felt that there should be no delay on account of Kaka after the thread ceremony was over to go to Gwalior for the wedding. He wanted Kaka to come from Nagpur to Gwalior without any stress. Therefore, he fixed such an auspicious time which would be suitable to both. The Nana, the foremost, the devotees came with eagerness to Shirdi for Sai's darshan and to invite him for the marriage. Kaka Sai was already there. Nana went to the masjid to invite Baba for the marriage with folded hands. Then Baba said, "Good, take Shamya with you." 2 days later, Kaka invited Baba for the thread ceremony. Baba told him also the same thing, "Take Shamya with you." But Kaka Sahib earnestly begged Baba to come himself. Thereupon, he promptly replied, After doing Kashi and Pragya quickly, I'll be ahead of Shamya. How much time does it take for me to arrive? Now, listeners, mark these words to understand their true meaning, for they show Baba's all-pervasiveness. Be that as it may, after lunch, Madhavrao began to think that once he had reached Gwalior, Kashi would not be far away from there. He borrowed 100 rupees from Nandaram Marwadi for his travelling expenses. Then he went to get Baba's permission for leaving and asked him with great reverence, "Since I am going to Gwalior for these ceremonies, I feel that it would be proper to take the opportunity to incidentally go to Kashi and Gaya. Therefore, Lord, I touch your feet and ask if I can visit Kashi and Gaya." Baba happily gave permission to Madhavrao to go. Moreover, he said to him, "Why do you ask redundant questions? Whatever happens in the natural course should definitely not be missed." So be it. On receiving such a permission, Madhavrao engaged a vehicle and left for Kopargaon. Then he met Appa Kote. Appa was going to Chandwad to bring his granddaughter. When he heard about the proposed idea of going to Kashi, he jumped out of his tanga. Though he did not have enough money to go to Kashi, he did not want to give up the company of a person like Madhavrao. Madhavrao encouraged him, so there was nothing to prevent Appa Kote. He got into the vehicle happily and quickly taking advantage of the situation. Appa Kote Patil was well-to-do, but he did not have any money for the travel. Therefore, he dreadfully feared that he would miss the pilgrimage to Kashi. When the time is favorable, one should seize the opportunity. Appa felt he should definitely have the company of Madhavrao. As it was, knowing his predicament, Madhavrao gave him timely encouragement, took him to Kashi and fulfilled his wishes. They went forward to Nagpur to attend the thread ceremony, where Kaka Sahib gave 200 rupees to Madhavrao for expenses. From there they went to Gwalior for the wedding. Nana Sahib gave 100 rupees to Madhavrao at that time. Srimad Jattar, a relative, the father-in-law of his child, also gave 100 rupees. Thus Nana showered his affection on his Guru Bandhu. Jattar was the owner of a beautiful gem-encrusted temple of Lakshmi Narayan at Mangal Ghat of Kashi. He also had a beautiful Sri Ram temple at Ayodhya. He entrusted his manager with the task of welcoming these guests at both the places with all courtesies. From Gwalior they went to Mathura accompanied by Uz Inamdar of Palaspa, Biniwal, brother-in-law of Nana, and Pendharkar, son-in-law. These three returned from there. Madhavrao and Kote went from there to Prague and entered Ayodhya in time for the Ramnavami festival. They stayed there for 21 days and spent 2 months at Kashi, during which time the eclipse of moon and the sun took place. Then both of them left for Gaya. While they were both in the train, they heard that there was a plague epidemic in Gaya and that in every nook and corner people were worried. By the time the train arrived at the station, it was already night, so both of them comfortably rested at the dharamshala there. So be it. The Gayawal priest who arranges and provides for the lodging and boarding of the pilgrimage came to meet them early in the morning. He said, "Hurry up, the pilgrimage has already started." Madhavrao, who was disturbed in his mind, asked him in a low voice, "We are coming, but has the plague epidemic affected your locality?" Then he replied to them, "Come and see for yourself. There is nothing of the kind there. Come with me without any fear or doubt." Enough. Then both of them went to the residence of Gayawal. Seeing his large and palatial house, they were very pleased. There was another reason also for their happiness, because where they had sat down they saw portrait of Baba in front of them. Mother Rao was choked with emotion. It is beyond their expectation to have a vision of Sai's portrait in a place so far away as Gaya. Madhura was deeply moved and his eyes filled with tears. "Why have you started crying?" asked the Gayawal of him. As Madhura was crying without any apparent cause, Gayawal was full of doubts and was disturbed. Gayawal became very disturbed, believing that Madhura was worried about the plague in Gaya and how his pilgrimage would be affected. "I have already told you that there is no plague here, yet you are worried. I am really surprised. If you do not trust me, why don't you ask all these others? Not even a hair on your head will be harmed. Why are you crying?" Observe the pilgrim who is crying all the time without reason, as he has been shocked by the plague epidemic and has lost his courage. Therefore, Madhav Rao tried to explain to the Gayawal what was in his mind. "How has my Mauli Sai come here ahead of me? After doing Kashi and Prayag, quickly I will be head of Shama," were Baba's earlier words. Here was the proof in the form of this portrait. Seeing Baba's portrait in front of him as soon as he entered the house, he felt it a great miracle on noting this unexpected circumstance. He was choked with emotion and love. His eyes were filled with tears of joy. His whole body was horripilating and he was profusely sweating. This condition of Madhavrao had an adverse effect on Gayawal's mind. He truly felt that he was crying because of the fear of plague. Shama then, out of curiosity, asked the Gayawal, "Tell us in detail how you obtained this picture." Later on, Gayawal began to narrate the full circumstances that happened 12 years back to Madhav Rao. It was a miracle. Listen to it. The Gayawal employed not one but 200 to 300 agents to note down details of the pilgrimages to Gaya at Manmad and Pantambe. Looking after the comfort of the pilgrims was Gayawal's business. When he was engaged in this work, Gayawal once went to Shirdi. He heard that Sai Samartha was a great saint. He decided to have his darshan and be purified. He took Sai Baba's darshan and prostrated at his feet. There arose a desire in him to have a picture of Baba. Madhavra had a portrait hanging on his wall which the Gayawal asked for, and which was given to him with Baba's permission. He recollected that this was his own picture and this was the same Gayawal. "How did Baba send me here and make me meet him after a long time?" was his thought. Considering the fact that this had happened 12 years ago, how and why would it be remembered? He had not thought of it again at all. But Baba's Leela was unfathomable. He had sent Shama there only, and there only he had given his darshan. Gayawal was also very pleased. Shama then recalled that this was the same picture given from his home to the same Gayawal after taking Sai Baba's permission. The Gayawal remembered that he had earlier stayed with Shama after arriving at Shirdi, and it was he who had helped him to have Baba's darshan. Then there was no end to their joy. Remembering their mutual obligations, he looked after Shama with the uttermost care, providing all the conveyance at Gaya. How opulent was his home, at the door of which swayed elephants. He sat in palanquin and made Shama ride an elephant. Taking all the essentials of the worship, they joyously went to Vishnupada. They gave a ritual bath to the deity and offered pind as per the prescribed procedure. Later, the Brahmins were gratified and given food also. After the offering of Naivedya, the pilgrimage was happily concluded with Baba's grace. The sense of this whole story is that Baba's words are significant, that can be experienced word by word. His love for his devotees was immense. It was not only love for the devotees, but he treated all creatures alike. He was supremely one with all of them also. He had he had excessive liking for them. Sometimes on his way back from the lane day to the masjid, when he was casually walking, he met a flock of goats. Baba was filled with joy. Casting a winging glance on the whole flock, he would sometimes pick one or two of the goats and set them aside. Baba would immediately give whatever price was asked for them by the owner. Then he would pick them at Kondyajis. This was Baba's habit. Keep them at Kondyajis. This was Baba's habit. On one occasion, Baba purchased two goats, paying 32 rupees. Everyone was surprised. As soon as he saw these two, a sudden love sprung up for them. He went near them and patted them on their backs. Seeing both of them born as animals, Sai Samartha felt compassion for them. Finding them in such state, he was full of pity and a sudden outburst of love. Taking them near him, Sai lovingly fondled them. All the devotees were surprised seeing Baba's fondness for them. Sai recalled their immense greediness in their previous lives. Sai felt love for them, seeing their present animal birth. Incomparable pity arose for them. When the price could have been 2 rupees or at the most 3 or 4, Baba had given 16. This was beyond understanding. Tatyaba was amazed by it. The price was asked and the bargain sealed. Seeing this with their own eyes, Madhavrao along with Tatya scoffed at Baba's behavior. Why did he give 16 rupees for goods worth 2 rupees? Did Baba have no value for money, or is it that he acted as per his will? Even this argument was not tenable. Both were greatly fuming and fretting. Why did Baba conclude such bargain? Both of them blamed Baba. What kind of bargain was this? How can Baba so deceived be Baba so deceived? All the people gathered there to see this. Baba remained calm as if nothing was lost. Though both of them were thus angry and blamed Baba, he was not at all moved. He remained unmoved and peacefully blissful. Then, with respect and humility, both of them asked Baba, "What type of generosity is this? 32 rupees have been wasted. It was only a question of money." Sai smiled when he heard it and thought, how should I convince these mad people? But Baba's composure was remarkable. Not a jot of his firmness was shaken. This is the sign of ultimate peace. All the people were surprised. How could foolishness ever touch the one who has not a trace of anger, experiences supreme peace, and sees God in all creatures? One who is composed of correct judgment does not permit anger to approach. If by chance it happens, the treasure of peace is unlocked. How can I describe the greatness of him whose constant thought was Allah Malik? How life was deep and unfathomable, very pure and beneficial. He who was born was the womb of knowledge, the treasure of discrimination, ocean of self-bliss, and whose intellect was overflowing with mercy, thrice purified, spoke thus. Listen to it. Seeing the persistence of both, Baba decided to explain. When I do not have a place to sit or a home, then why should I accumulate money? Further, he said, go to the shop first and bring lentils after purchasing them. Give them one share of it to their heart's content. Then give them back to the herdsmen. According to the instructions, they immediately gave lentils to the goats to eat. Then, without losing any time, they were returned to the flock. This Sai avatar is clearly the embodiment of benevolence. What could Tatya, Shama, or anyone else suggest to him in a way of noble thoughts? After feeding them the lentils with great love, observing that they were well satisfied, he asked them to be taken to the owner so that they could rest with the herd. Thus the money was spent and the goats were returned. It was a loss-making transaction. Then Sai Baba told an unusual story of their past births. Baba loved both Tatya and Shama alike. To cool their anger, he told them a charming story. Sai on his own narrated the story of the previous births of the goat. Listeners, hear it also. They were fortunate in their past lives. They were human beings then and stayed near me. They had to bear the fruits of their action. These that you see as goat were poor brothers in their past lives. Their end came because of their infighting. This brought such a result. At first there was love between the brothers. in their past lives. They usually ate and slept together and were concerned about each other's welfare. There was great unity between them. Though they were real brothers, they had great greed for money, which brought enmity between them because of their own greed and fate becoming together, which brought immense suffering. The older brother was very lazy, the younger was always industrious, which helped to accumulate wealth. The elder brother was filled with envy. The elder, because of his greed for money, nursed wrong thoughts of removing the throne from his path so that he could not lack money. Greed for money became an obstacle and he was blinded by it. Despite having eyes, he totally forgot brotherly love and became ready to kill him. It is extremely difficult to fight destiny. Enmity arose without cause. They came to know each other's duplicity, and greed could not be controlled. Their lifespan had ended. They totally forgot brotherly love. They were greatly agitated by offensive pride. They fought like enemies. One injured the head of the other with a big stick and he fell down. The other, with the help of an axe, likewise hit his brother. Then both of them fell down unconscious, shattered in pool of blood. After a little while they were without breath and both died. Thus came their end. They were then born in their form of life. Then they were born in this form of life, such is their story, of which I am reminded in detail when I saw them. To undergo the effects of their past action, they were reborn as goats. Seeing them unexpectedly in the herd, I was overcome with love. Therefore, spending money from my own pocket, I thought of giving them refuge. We became the instrument by which their past actions stood in the way. I felt compassion towards the goats, but because of your insistence, I also agreed finally to return them to the herdsmen. Be it so. The story ends here. Listeners, forgive me. Later on, listen to the next chapter. You will be happy. That also is full of supreme love. It is also the nectar from Sai's lips. Hemad humbles himself at Sai's feet and requests listeners. May there be well-being. This is the end of the 46th chapter of Shri Sai Satcharitra, written by the devotee Hemad Pant, implied by saints and virtuous people, called Trip to Kashi and Gaya, narration of the birth of goats. This is offered to Shri Sadguru Sai Nath. May there be auspiciousness.